Welcome back. It has been quite a while since I've done an update. I've been pretty busy. I have not been neglecting my tank. Really, in contrast, I've been doing a lot of updates with the tank and really just trying to get it stable. And as you can see there, it has stabilized, and the SPS corals are growing quite well now. I've simplified the pump setup. As you can see, I pretty much just have one wave maker pump. It's the new Nero 7, which I really like, by the way. I was running two Nero 5s for a while, or for a long time actually, and the Nero 5s were great, but I did have some reliability issues with them. After a year or two, they seemed to have issues and just would stop working. And I was like, fine, you know what? Given the price point of these pumps, I really can't complain too much about that. I mean, they're used 24/7. So, and I really like the look of them. And so I was like, I'm going to try the new Nero 7. So I went with the Nero 7. It's on the right there. I'm not sure it's really in the frame. Maybe I can turn this for you so you can see that. There it is right there. On the right there, on the upper side of the screen, that's the Nero 7. And I like it because it's a lot easier to clean than the Nero 5. It's a lot more powerful, but probably the biggest thing I like about it is its ability to push water in a very wide pattern. So you can see the GSP on the back wall, pretty much right to the side of it, is getting flow. And I never could achieve that with a single Nero 5. So this puts out a really wide band of flow. And you, like I said, you can see that GSP just going back and forth. And that's really directly perpendicular, 90-degree angle from the pump, and it's still getting flow there. So pretty amazing. So I was able to basically go from two pumps to one pump, which is really awesome. That means the left side of the tank, I don't have anything obstructing the view. It looks really clean. It's a lot easier to maintenance. So that was a big thing that I've done to the tank since my last video. That has been a success. The other big thing was I started dosing coral snow on the regular. I was kind of slacking on my nitrate test for a little while, so I said, you know what, let me do a test, see what's going on, and it was at 0. And I was like, okay, well, I got to bring it up. And during that time, I did a little research. I found an inappropriate reefer, I believe is his name. He did a video on the coral snow and dinos, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I started doing coral snow weekly and basically doing everything he said on the video, running filter floss, no activated carbon. So just doing the coral snow, the Microbacter 7, the bacteria, the good nitrifying bacteria, and dosing nitrates, obviously, to get my levels up to at least detectable. Optimally, I like to run about 5 nitrates. You can run higher for sure, but I like to at least have 5. So I started slowly dosing nitrates and doing the coral snow weekly. I don't run any filtration at all other than just a BioBlock in my filter, or excuse me, in my sump. So I started running filter floss only when I'm doing the coral snow. That way it removes the excess organics from the tank. And let me tell you, it worked. I mean, I really cannot say enough positive things about that. I feel like ever since I've been doing that on the regular, you know, basically running the coral snow, calcium carbonate is really what it is. I just buy a food grade product on Amazon. It's cheaper that way. And then I just run the Microbacter 7. And like I said, I just dose nitrate. And it pretty much has eliminated my dinos and any other nuisance bacteria, no cyano, really no anything. I do get a little bit of hair algae, but I actually want that because it's food for my tang, as you can see there. And yeah, and the corals love it. I feel like the next day after everything clears up, the polyp extension is better. The corals just look happier. So yeah, so that was really the big thing, the pump, and then just doing the coral snow weekly, and then and just my normal maintenance. And as far as water changes, I really don't do water changes. The only thing I do is maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, I mix up maybe 10 gallons of fresh salt water, and then I clean out my sump. So I clean out all the detritus in the sump. I get rid of all that, obviously discard it, and then I put new water to replenish what I've taken out. But really, it's not a water change per se. It's just removing detritus out of my tank and adding fresh water or fresh salt water to replenish what I've taken out. So that's really kind of the, or it's really been the magic bullet for the tank, just really keeping it simple. Almost no filtration, just a single pump, doing the coral snow weekly, which is very inexpensive. I think, you can buy a bottle of it. It comes in a powder, so it's not really a bottle, but you can get it for like $15, I think, on Amazon. And then the Microbacter 7 is pretty cheap also, so it's not expensive. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, I'm pretty much a minimalist when it comes to reefing. I try to figure out, what's the minimum that I can do for the maximum results. And that's really been it for this tank. Really very minimal water changes just to clean the sump, the minimum amount of pumps I can use to get the job done. So minimum on everything, maximum results. Think I've achieved it here, and I'm really happy with the tank. Obviously I could add some more corals. That's something to look forward to. Maybe get some different colors and some variations in there. Thinking about maybe adding a hammer or something like that, maybe a couple more torches. But really, right now I'm just enjoying not having issues with the tank, and just enjoying watching the SPS grow. And that's really one of the big things I like about SPS. I love when it starts growing, watching how it grows. It's like, it's unique to every tank, depending on your flow, your lighting, your water chemistry and all that. Your SPS are going to do different things, which is what I think is so exciting about it. But yeah, anyway, the tank is doing really good. I thought because it's been doing really good, I'd share, how I got there. And I think most people could replicate this, and I guess the moral of the story is that you don't have to spend, a ton of money. You don't have to do these giant water changes every week to have success. And, I think everyone has success in their own ways. It's just my personal reefing journey has been, how do I get the maximum results with spending the least amount of money and the least amount of maintenance, because I have a pretty busy life. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I understand, some people might be retired or whatever and they got money and time galore. That's not me, but I really thought it would be helpful for the people that like to reef like I do and don't want to spend a ton of money maintaining their tank. And even these corals too, these are not expensive corals, these are pretty cheap corals, each frag was maybe $60. I would say my most expensive coral is that New York Nicks torch, but I think I even got that on sale for like $100. So that's like my most expensive coral. Everything in there is, $50 frag. And yeah, so it's just really awesome what you can achieve with not spending a lot of money on corals and not spending a ton of money on, you know, salt and water changes. You know, again, I don't run UV sterilizers. I don't run active carbon. I don't run a what do you call it? A skimmer. I don't run a skimmer. And as far as dosing, all I dose is Alpha Reef. I just mix up Alpha Reef. I buy the powder because it's way cheaper to do it that way. I mix up the powder maybe once every 2 months. I think for this tank I'm dosing 21 milliliters of Alpha Reef a day. And you know, the big canister is like $50. That thing lasts me 6 months at least. So, you know, I'm not spending a lot of money on dosing equipment. I just have one dosing pump, and I do dose nitrates because the tank sucks nitrates up like crazy. But I just use a little hand, you know, I just put it in like a, you know, a soap dispenser. I just bought a cheap one on Amazon. I pour nitrate in there, and I just, when I feed my fish, I just squirt a couple of squirts of nitrate in there, and that seems to do the trick. So it's really easy, and seem to be having really good results. I may do a doser in the future if I get tired of doing that, but it really, you know, for right now it's fine. But yeah, other updates are the fish. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you notice I had a yellow tang. Sadly, after about 6 years, because that was one of the first fish I got for this tank, and I think I bought it for $40, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, she died after 6 years. I was, you know, I've never really gotten sad about losing fish. I've always looked at them like it's an opportunity to get other fish that I've always wanted, kind of thing. But that one kind of hit me. You know, I felt like I got kind of close to that yellow tang, and it was sad when I lost her. But I've got the convict tang, as you can see there, and he is a really good utility fish. He constantly eats. He keeps the other fish in line. If they get aggressive, he'll kind of break up the aggression, and he's definitely the king of the tank, that's for sure. But he doesn't pester the other fish. You can see the fish are, you know, happy. You know, they're all out and about, swimming around. You know, they definitely don't seem stressed, right? I also added the Aptasia eating fowl fish. You can see that on the right of the screen there, kind of going up and down the wall a little bit. I had a Aptasia outbreak, really bad one actually. I mean, we're talking, I wish I took videos of it to insert here, but basically the whole bottom of the tank was like a field of Aptasia. It got really out of control. And I was really slacking on getting rid of it, because to get rid of it, I really had to do some drastic measures, because I had a hawkfish, and you know, adding, you know, peppermint shrimp has always been kind of like my go-to method of controlling Aptasia, but I couldn't add the peppermint shrimp because my hawkfish, I mean, it was like candy. I would put 5 or 6 peppermint shrimp in there, and literally within 15 seconds he would eat all of the shrimp. I mean, he would just go ballistic over those shrimp. I mean, he was a crackhead for those shrimp. So I'm like, look, okay, instead of just throwing my money down the drain here, I really need to take drastic measures and get him out. I mean, I literally had to take all my rocks out. I mean, it was really hard, because every time I went to grab him, he would just dart inside of a rock. And so anyway, I had to really just bite the bullet there, basically disassemble the rock scape, get him out, and then that allowed me to then add a few peppermint shrimp, and then I also did a fowl fish, because I think the fowl fish are cool. You know, they just kind of meander around, and you know, they're not the most colorful fish, but they are definitely characters. And he doesn't really seem to bother my coral. You know, I think, you know, results with him can vary from tank to tank, but I kind of got lucky with this. He doesn't pick at really any of my corals. He just kind of does his own thing, and I noticed right before the lights go out, he likes to really get active on the rocks and look for, you know, little critters to eat, because he pretty much between him and the 3 peppermint shrimp I put in there, they completely eliminated all the Aptasia. And like I said, I mean, I literally had hundreds of Aptasia in the tank, and they wiped it out within, I would say, 2 months. All the Aptasia was gone. So yeah, I'm in a really good place with the tank, you know, really no algae problems. You know, just the standard stuff. I get a little hair algae here and there. Obviously, I have to clean the pumps. I get, you know, the brown algae buildup. But, you know, you want that. That's, in my opinion, it's kind of a sign of a healthy tank. You want some algae growing. I mean, if you look at any coral reef, you're going to have algae. That's just part of a reef. The problem is when it gets out of control and it starts taking over and killing your coral and stuff like that. But, you know, your snails eat the algae, your tangs eat the algae. It's a food source. So, yeah, so anyway, I'm in a good place. It took me a long time to get here, but I kind of feel like, you know, I've got the formula now, and just wanted to share it with anyone that's interested that, you know, you could replicate this formula. It's not expensive, it's super minimalist, and super easy, really. And you can get really good results. I mean, my torch is doing really good. I mean, yeah, he's maybe not growing super fast right now, but he's doing really good. The mushrooms doing fantastic. I mean, he's totally fluffed out, super colorful. This isn't like, I'm just using my phone to record this, so the colors look way better in person. But yeah, everything's doing great. Great polyp extension on my SPS corals. The GSP is just insane. It's basically a forest and grows like a weed. So yeah, just thought I'd share everything with you guys and give you an update, and hope you enjoyed the video.